I'm Andrew Kilduff and I support Manchester United.
Jonathan Percival.
Martin Kerwin.
Scuffy Jang and I support Manchester United.
It's quite a deep history of how Manchester United come about. It was originally formed as a working team for Newton Heath and the Lancashire Railway in 1878, and then it changed its name to become Manchester United and then moved to Old Trafford in 1910. First won the league in 1907, and then the following year in 1908 we won the FA Cup for the first time, and then probably sort of dominated again early 50s through Busby.
Busby was, an incredible manager.
Historically, everyone knows about the Busby Babes, one of the greatest teams ever.
Matt Busby had the idea of bringing players in from youth at an early age.
And when people talk about like George Best and Dennis Law and Bobby Charlton, Nobby Stiles, Dennis Violet, people like that, there's quite a romance towards the club and towards those players, the magical players, especially in the likes of George Best. And I think that's what brought a lot of fans to Manchester United.
Matt Busby was basically the pioneer with United winning the league the 2 years earlier. He'd insisted with the club actually taking part in the European Cup despite what the FA wanted at the time and what the Football League wanted. So the team was away at Red Star Belgrade. Everybody who knows about Manchester United will know about that night on February the 6th, 1958.
The Munich air disaster.
The team plane tried to take off a couple of times.
It was heavy winds, heavy snow.
On its second or third attempt.
It didn't quite make it.
Several of the players, the press who were on board, club officials were killed.
It was something that shocked the whole nation. It's not just Manchester United fans that it affected, it was fans all over the world. Famously, Real Madrid offered to loan Di Stefano to Manchester United to get us through that period because we lost a lot of players.
A few years later we triumphed in the European Cup, which was an amazing achievement for a team that's been ravaged.
Getting to that European Cup final in 1968 was basically the pinnacle of what Busby done. He'd built the club and it took 10 years after the Munich disaster to do that.
And due to that, obviously we returned to the youth, and that's something that we've continually done throughout the times since then, and we've always used young players and promoted young players into the first team squad.
You know, Busby, people will always talk about the Babes, they'll talk about Munich, but he had his legacy during the war when Old Trafford was bombed, and it was badly bombed. The club was playing games at Manchester City, and it was Busby who helped to get Old Trafford rebuilt up into the football stadium it is now.
Theatre of Dreams.
Theatre of Dreams was something which Bobby Charlton himself come up with the terminology for, and it's written on the side of the stand.
The atmosphere's gone. I've seen games here when the atmosphere's been white hot.
Stretford End's certainly retained the majority of that, and that's where the atmosphere is.
I'm part of the Stretford End Flags group, and predominantly what we were set up to do was to do the banners which you see on the front of the Stretford End. So you see banners such as One Love Stretford End or For Every Man Can Religion, which is one of the banners up there. Along with other supporters groups, we've spent the last 3 or 4 years talking to the officials at Manchester United to put in place a singing section, and that's somewhere where we wanted like-minded fans to be located low down, near to the pitch, at an area where we're at the opposite end to the Stretford End to try and improve the atmosphere throughout the Old Trafford. To pick the best manager of Manchester United, it's between Matt Busby and it's between Sir Alex Ferguson. You look at Sir Alex Ferguson's history and what he's won.
We won the FA Cup in 90, we won the Cup Winners' Cup in 91, League Cup followed that, and then we won the Premier League title in the first year of the Premier League, which was 92-93.
He brought the club back into winning the league titles after going 26 years without winning one, won 2 European Cups.
Countless community shields and charity shields. 13 league titles, a World Club Cup.
Fergie's a one-off. You won't see anyone like him again. It's unbelievable manager. Everyone that's a United fan knows how big a manager he was and how great he was, but if anything, the last couple of years has really brought it home. To see what happened to that team, that same team, under David Moyes, just made you realise how massive Fergie was. He could turn average players into fantastic players and fantastic players into world-class players.
it's an impossible call to really say what your best player is or what your best team has been, really.
Brian Robson's my favourite all-time player.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel sums up what type of player he was.
One of the best midfielders I've ever seen. He was the driver, he drove United.
An older fan will probably say you like Sir Charlton, your best, your law.
Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Paul Ince, Paul Scholes, David Beckham.
Ryan Giggs. He's won absolutely everything there is to win. He gave so much to the club and he's still doing it now as assistant manager.
For me, I think the best player I've seen in a red shirt is Ronaldo. The goals he scored were unbelievable. You know, I think there was one season he got 48 goals for the club.
Peter Schmeichel, Ferdinand, Dennis Irwin, Roy Keane, Joachim Cole,
Cantona,
Ruud van Nistelrooy, one of the best strikers I've ever seen. I could go on and on and on.
The rivalry with City's obviously always been there because it's another club within the city of Manchester. But the rivalry was more so with Liverpool, really.
City's just City. They're not our rivals. There's another derby, and that's the derby of the North, and that's United v Liverpool.
Manchester City are always the local team that we play against, and you want to beat them because you'll have friends and family that you'll go to work with, etc., and you'll have a bit of banter between you. But Liverpool's always been the biggest game between when it comes to United.
But that's gradually changing with the sort of way Manchester City has changed as a club and the wealth, and they're now competing on that level.
Manchester City in the last 4 or 5 years, definitely the rivalry's more intense.
The tension has been built up a lot more because the City are there as a force now. You can't ignore them.
You know, we're a few levels down from City at this moment in time.
They've got a great team and they're fighting for the league again this season, but hopefully we'll be able to beat them this time round because they beat us in the last 3 games, and I think we definitely owe them one.
We've probably had our worst Premier League last year under David Moyes than what we've had since before Sir Alex Ferguson took over. And I think Louis van Gaal is a sensible appointment. We've seen exactly what he's done with Holland in the World Cup. A bit of Sir Alex Ferguson about him as well. You know, he's put the media at times in his place, and then you can't argue with the signings he's brought in. He's give every player a chance, and it's good to see the world-class signings coming back to Manchester United. That's what we've needed.
I believe in his philosophy, and I think with Angel Di Maria, he's got a superstar, and he'll drive the club forward.
You know, he's only played, I think it's 8 or 9 games, but he's been absolutely phenomenal.
If you look at Louis van Gaal's record when he was at Ajax, you know, he brought through a lot of youth players. You know, youth has always been part of Manchester United tradition and its heritage.
We've seen that even this season with Tyler Blackett. We've had Paddy McNair recently playing the last couple of games, and James Wilson is going to be a great striker. I've got no doubt about that. He looks fantastic.
At the moment, it's an exciting time to be a Manchester United fan again. We turn up at Old Trafford and we don't know what we're going to see in front of us. There's still a lot to be done and a lot to be seen through what Van Gaal will do, and I don't think we can judge him till probably next transfer window when there's a couple more signings coming to the club.